Recording in progress.
Ini mulai ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tamal Sabrina Adini. It is wonderful and precious chance for me to be your master of ceremony in this beautiful morning at this online conference. First of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has been giving us guidance, happiness, healthy, and mercy so we can attend and participate in this event without any obstacles. Praise and salutation upon our Prophet Muhammad SAW, the best figure of this universe, the person who was able to save us from Jahiliyah era. In this beautiful moment, I would like to welcome to Ahmad Raihan Toharido, who will be the moderator at our online conference.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. First, let's thank God, the Almighty, who has been giving us His mercy and blessings until we can attend this meeting without any troubles and obstacles in this happy place and time. I'm Ahmad Raihan Toharido, the moderator of today's seminar. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this seminar. Today's seminar is about corruption law. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have three amazing speakers. They will deliver material about corruption and issue related to corruption. First speakers today is Natasha Azahra. She is a lawyer who often deals with corruption cases in Indonesia. And of course, she has extraordinary experience and knowledge regarding our topic today. And the second speakers today is Mrs. Azizah Permatasari. She is a lecturer at the Faculty of Law, University of Brawijaya, and she just finished her doctoral studies at the University of Chicago. And of course, his knowledge is amazing. And the third speaker today is Mr. Inyoman Vedanta. He is one of the most politicians in Indonesia, and he's still young. But his work in the world of politics is extraordinary. Before the presentation begins, let me inform how the presentation will be going on. First, all speakers will be invited to present the material. After that, there will be question and answer section and followed by conclusion. Now, allow me to welcome the speaker, Mrs. Tasha, Mr. Yoman, and Mrs. Azizah Permatasari to deliver his presentation. The screen is yours.
Can I share screen right now? Sorry, share screen tolong diizinin, nggak bisa share screen.
Have done.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tasha, and I will be presenting the material about corruption law. Corruption in Indonesia today is a very dangerous social fatality or social disease that threatens all aspects of the lives of society, nation, and state. Corruption has resulted in huge material losses to the state finance. However, what is even more concerning is the confiscation and management of state finance, which are carried out collectively by members of the legislature under the pretext of a comparative study of severance pay and so on are beyond reasonable limits. This form of confiscation and depletion of state finance occurs in almost all regions of the country. It is a reflection of low morality and feeling ashamed. So the what stands out is the attitude of greed and he is able to. The question is, can corruption be eradicated? There is no other answer. If we want to move forward, is that corruption must be eradicated. If we don't success in eradicating corruption or at least reduce it to the lowest point, so don't expect this country to be able to catch up compared to other countries to become a developed country. Because corruption has a fairly broad negative impact and can bring the country to the brink of collapse. There are formulation of the problem. What is corruption? Public perception of corruption, factors that cause corruption, the phenomenon of corruption in Indonesia, the role of the KPK in eradicating corruption in Indonesia, how to eradicate corruption. Definition of corruption. The word corruption, according to the KBBI, means the misappropriation or embezzlement of state or company money and so on for personal or other people's gain. Corruption always contains element of fraud or dishonest. In accordance with law number 28 of 1999 concerning state fraud, there is clean and free from corruption, collusion, and nepotism. It is stated that corruption is a criminal act as referred to in the provisions of the laws and regulation governing corruption.
To public perception of corruption. Small people who do not have a bet to make corruption and impose sanction are generally indifferent. But the saddest thing is the attitude of the people to become apathetic with the increasing number of corrupt practices carried out by several local and national criminals. Student groups often respond to the corruption problems with emotion and demonstration. The themes that are often raised are corrupt rules and the suffering of the people. They give advice to the government to act decisively against corruption. This was quite successful, especially during the 1998 Iran movement. They are not satisfied with the manipulative action and corruption of officials. Therefore, they want to participate in the reconstruction effort for the community and the government system as a whole, aiming for justice, equality, and equitable prosperity. Next. 3. Factors that cause corruption. The following are the factors that underlie the cause of corruption. 1. Inconsistent law enforcement. Law enforcement, which is very much a political right, is temporary in nature and changes every time the government changes. 2. Abuse of power or authority is afraid of being considered stupid if you don't use the word. 3. The steps for an environment that are anti-corruption system and anti-corruption guidelines are only carried out to a formal level. 4. The culture of giving tribute in return for sacrifice and gift. 5. The consequence if arrests are lower than the benefit of corruption when can bribe law enforcement so that they are released or not their sentence is reduced. 6. Permissive or all permissive culture doesn't want to know. Assume it's normal if it happens often. You don't need other people as long as it's important that you protect yourself. 7. The failure of religious and ethnical education. 4. The phenomenon of corruption in Indonesia. Natural phenomenon that usually occur in developing countries, for example, Indonesia. 1. The modernization process has not been supported by the capacity of human resource and existing political institutions. 2. Existing political institutions are still weak due to the ease with which these institutions are influenced by business or economic power, social, religious, regional, ethnic, and professional, as well as other foreign powers. 3. There are always new social groups that want to do politics, but in fact, many of them can afford it. 4. They just want to satisfy the ambition and personal interest under the pretext of the people interest.
Okay, My name is Inyoman Vedanta Diputra, and I will continue Aziza's presentation. Now we arrive at consequences of corruption in Indonesia and some effects of corruption in Indonesia. There are some effects of corruption in Indonesia. First, politics party is often inconsistent, meaning that their ideology changes following their politics interest. Two, as a politics leader, the participant and their group will seek to gain maximum benefit when ignoring the people's needs. And then what is called erosion of loyalty will occur. And then economic resources will be concentrated to one or two small groups. Then political institutions are used as two-way institutions. Thus, opportunity to do corruption will increase over time. Now we arrive in KPK influence in Indonesia. Participation and public support is essential to control government's efforts to contain corruption from KPK. KPK is formed through Undang-Undang Nomor 30 Tahun 2022. The government hopes that KPK will be the country's first force in battling against corruption. These are KPK's agenda. Number one, building culture that supports the eradication of corruption. Two, pushing government to do public sector reform to create good governance. Three, building public trust. Four, to follow up against big-scale corruption. And then number five, to push another institution to eradicate corruption. Next.
Sorry, udah connect apa belum?
Udah. Now we arrive at the steps on how to eradicate corruption. The President through Inpres nomor 5 tahun 2004 states some effective steps to eradicate corruption. First is purging all of governmental office from any bad influence, and then keep track of any things in all department, prevent all misjudgments regarding infrastructure building, investigate every misjudgment in all institutions, tracking all corruptors who go overseas, intensify the eradication of any illegal logging, and then tracking of any form of tax and customs. Another method to eradicate corruption is to uphold the Constitution itself. Some constitution to regulate about corruption are Undang-Undang Nomor 28 Tahun 1999, and then RUU KUHP Pasal 681 dan 69. Conclusion. Okay, we arrive now at conclusion. Conclusion. Corruption is a criminal act that enriches oneself, which directly harms the state of our country's economies. The elements in corruption crime consist of two aspects. First is the aspect of enriching oneself using their power, and second is the usage of state funds for their own satisfaction. There are factors that are leading to corruption, such as lack of leaders, failure of teaching and ethics, colonialism, low education level, etc. The effects of corruption can occur in various fields, including economic, social, and others.
Okay, thank you for your amazing presentation about corruption law, Mrs. Aziza, Mrs. Tasha, and Mr. Yaman. Thank you very much to all the speakers for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have arrived to the question and answer session. I would like to have 3 questions from the participants for the audience. You can ask the speakers through raise hand features on Zoom or via chat. Okay, Mr. Gifari, you can ask to presentator.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Gifari, and thank you for this opportunity that I got a chance to ask the speaker. My question is, I would like to know how the government handle corruption case in Indonesia, and did the government succeed to do that? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gifari. And the second question, Mr. Raihan Rizky, you can ask the question.
Okay, let me ask you one question for all speakers. My name is Raihan Rizky, and my question is, what kind of improvement should be made by KPK to improve the eradication of corruption? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Raihan Rizky. And the last question, Mr. Hafian Dava, you can ask the question, please.
Okay, let me ask you one question to Mr. Nyoman. My name is Hafian Dava, and my question is, in your opinion, what punishment should be given to corruptors? Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the question from the audience. Now, for the speakers, you can answer the question asked by the audience.
Okay, I will answer a question from Mr. Peter. In my opinion, efforts to combat and prevent corruption are not non-existent, but have not shown a serious level and strong commitment, so that it seems to be running slowly and the results are far from expectation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Natasha. And the second question, Mr. Aziza, or maybe Mr. Yoman, you can answer the question.
Okay, I'm going to answer Mr. Rahan Rizky question. What should KPK improve to reduce corruption? An effective way to eliminate corruption in this country is to take the asset of the corruption asset. Making corruption poor is a choice and returning the money from the corruption to the state. There are many ways to create corruption-free Indonesia, starting with strengthening trade, law from the country, building a strong rule of law, socializing moral education, and conducting special anti-corruption education. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Aziza, for the answer. And maybe Mr. Nyoman, you can answer the question, please.
Okay, I will answer Mr. Hafian Dava's question. In my opinion, the best sentence to be given for the corruptors, maybe I think is the heaviest sentence possible, because corruption has been infecting our country's state of economies for a long time. So I think it's the best for the corruptors to be given heaviest sentence as possible. Thank you.
Okay, that will be all. Once again, firstly, I say thank you for all the speakers for the answer, and I think that will be all. Once again, thank you to all the speakers for giving us such an insightful and informative lectures in this seminar. With that being said, this will conclude our seminar today. I'm Ahmad Rahyanto Harido, giving back this seminar to the MC. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Toha.
Okay.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Finally, from the deepest of my heart, I do apologize for my mistake in this event. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.